When I first read that question in the email that we all got sent, I thought, whoa, that's a big question. I can't really answer that. And I realized that for me, it brought up all these thoughts of, I know what it is defined by society and by the derision of all things feminine, which is a terrible definition to have, I realize. But to me, it's also about empathy and emotional intelligence and sensitivity.
Yes.
Well, I attach those things to femininity.
Yeah. I think that we can see that for a lot of people. I feel very similar about
Right.
that too.
Not that masculinity can't also
Of course.
bring those things to the table.
Michelle?
Yeah, likewise, like Dana, I think it's interesting to mark the moments where questions made me balk or feel unsure of how I begin to answer that question. I think that part of how I'd answer is linked to how I move through space. So femininity, that really can be applied to men and women and those who are trans, and I just think that somehow the relationship of my present being moving through space does connect somehow with this idea of femininity, because there are moments where I'm sure of myself, there are moments where I am threatened, there are moments where potentially my being is under attack. There are just, that may somehow, I'm digging to try to work out whether that connects with the idea of femininity, but sometimes there's a vulnerability as well as a strength, and that makes sense to me in relation to femininity, but it's a really hard question to answer. I think it also has something to do with parading as well, but I can go into that a bit later.
I identify as a queer femme, lesbian, bi, what have you, and I think when I first came out, that sort of vision of a queer woman wasn't a feminine one. So for me, my femininity is very, very conscious, because it's about me, I guess, putting out the signals to, I like butch women, but it's about my desire, and it's it's completely out of the patriarchal gaze, because I'm not looking to attract cisgendered men or people who identify as men like you. And I think having that, going through that experience and that journey of playing with femininity in that way, it's really made me kind of hyper aware of like the little things that you were saying about the vulnerability, about how I move, how my arms move around, how I flip my hair, in the wind, all of that kind of stuff.
So vulnerability and behaviour.
Yeah, but it's there. We say vulnerable not as in weak, but in a kind of in an openness, in something that is actually quite strong. Some of the most powerful, amazing, high heel stomping people that I know are feminine lesbian women. It's just absolutely, there's this energy and this power and this parading that you were saying that I see in that. So.
Yeah, with femininity, sometimes there can be a sort of instant reaction to thinking, oh, is it aesthetic?
Yes.
When often, if I think about my personal relationship with femininity, I feel very much the same way, that it's about that balance between strength and vulnerability. I think about it very much more on an emotional level, rather than sort of how I'm supposed to behave or act. And I think that's quite true.
I see. So femininity in our panel's eyes has this many layers of emotional experience, desires, societal expectations, a kind of action and performance in space, and also I see there's quite a lot of intersection, interlinked about